Hey, greetings, everyone. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West here, and welcome to the Steadfast and Loyal podcast.
You gotta light 'em up before they burn it down. Better dig deep, put 'em in the ground. Blood on their hands, they're hellbound. Save us all. Ooh, they're gonna burn it down. Save us all before they burn it down.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, and throughout my life, from military to public service, the right to bear arms responsibly has been a fundamental belief. That's why I stand with United Patriot Supply. They're redefining what it means to be a firearms dealer by combining the experience and know-how of a traditional gun shop together with the selection and pricing power of a modern e-commerce company. Stop by our flagship store in Seneca, Kansas, or visit us online at UnitedPatriotSupply.com. Hey, greetings, everyone. Welcome back to the Steadfast and Loyal podcast. As you know, what really makes this podcast kick tail is the introductory music, and that is by my friend Ryan Weaver, and that is from his song Burn. Ryan just released a new video and a new song, and that's why we want to have him back here at the Steadfast and Loyal podcast. And just to remind everybody, Ryan grew up in a family of 11 in the small town of Floral City, Florida. He joined the military, the Army, right after high school. After several years of working as a military intelligence analyst, Ryan followed in the footsteps of his two older brothers, Steve and Aaron, by attending Warrant Officer Candidate School and Flight School. Ryan graduated top of his class in flight school and became a Black Hawk aviator, Black Hawk helicopters. In April 2003, he deployed to Baghdad International Airport in Iraq. Shortly after, one of his brothers, Aaron, was deployed just west of him in Fallujah. Then on January the 8th of 2004, his older brother, Aaron, was killed in action when the medevac helicopter he was a passenger in was shot down by enemy fire. And Ryan certainly understood the mortality and the risk of combat. But also, in December the 17th of 2013, Ryan's brother-in-law, Chief Warrant Officer 2, Randy Billings, was killed in action in Afghanistan when the Black Hawk helicopter he was piloting was shot down by enemy ground-detonated explosive device. It was the second heartbreaking loss in the Weaver family, and now they are a two-time Gold Star family. So Ryan joins us today to talk about his latest song, a tribute to his brother Aaron, called What You Think of Me. Ryan, thanks so much for coming back on the Steadfast and Loyal podcast.
Oh, I can't thank you enough for having me on again, Alan. You've always been a huge supporter of my music, and you and I have become friends over the last several years, and I'm grateful.
My pleasure. So first, before we get into the song and your tribute to your older brother Ryan, how are things going out there? Are you doing a lot of traveling on the road, doing a lot of concerts?
We've got a few things in the works for this year. As an independent artist, it's not like the record label folks that are out there. I don't get booked a year out for shows. So we've got a few. We got the Warrior Weekend coming up September 6th. We had two events in Texas that have been moved. A lot of folks were planning on coming, but we do have September 6th Warrior Weekend down in Orlando, supporting the Warrior Shield Foundation and the Sub-Zero mission.
Awesome. Well, please let us know how we can support and drive attendance to your events because you're a great artist. So tell us about that relationship that you had with your older brother, Aaron.
Well, Aaron and I were adopted by our stepdad. It was our stepdad at the time. He's my dad as far as I'm concerned. Otherwise, I don't even like using the word stepdad because he raised us. Aaron, Aaron was a year and 10 months older than me. I followed in his footsteps as far as my military career was concerned. Somewhat, he followed in my oldest brother Steve's footsteps. I don't know if you guys can see this photo here, but that's our flight school graduation right there.
Wow.
And Steve's right there, and Aaron's right there, and I'm in the middle. In between all of us, them, they were there for my flight school graduation. But Aaron followed in Steve's footsteps through the Ranger Regiment. Steve was in the 2nd of 75th. Aaron was in 3rd of 75th. The ambush in Mogadishu, Black Hawk Down was made after.
Mm-hmm.
And I went military intelligence, so I didn't go the hardcore route, and then got stuck on recruiting duty and accepted into flight school, become a warrant officer. And I was about 9 years into my career and finished off as a Chief Warrant Officer 3. But, my relationship with Aaron was close. He was, if you watch the video, when people watch this video, what you
Yeah.
think of me, I was honored that Chad could be involved in this again. He's helped me out with a few of my music videos now. But it really told the story of my relationship with Aaron and how much I loved and respected him and followed in his footsteps as my standard bearer, essentially, for success in my military career. The thing was, once he was killed in action in Iraq, I had to make my own footsteps. I no longer had his footsteps to follow in. And that's where my music career started taking off at that point, because I started chasing in his honor.
Now, you used a high school football game kind of as the concept around the video. How did you come to that?
Well, essentially, the high school football game is a metaphor for my music career, really.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron and I played football, youth football, and middle school football, and I didn't grow much past 128 pounds in high school, so I stopped at junior varsity, and we both started running track and cross country, and he got into soccer later on. But following in his footsteps, I wore the number 7, took over his number 10. My younger sister, Shannon, who plays my older sister, it's kind of a story. She plays my older sister in the music video. She actually took over number 10 as well, which I found out this past weekend. I didn't know because I was stationed in Hawaii, so I didn't get to come to any of her track meets. But, talking about the ups and downs of the music business and overcoming obstacles, and the entire time that I've been doing this, obviously having Aaron and then Randy in my corner to drive me to want to be successful. But you get to see those things as the game progresses. You get to see the kid who played my character, Ryan, going forward into the state championship football game. And of course, the world is on his shoulders, and he feels that in everything that he's doing, he's remembering the past and also thinking about his brother and how he can honor him. And then, of course, the sacrifice that his brother makes in combat is kind of a pinnacle climax of the video. But that's really where the heart of the song is, and honoring Aaron's sacrifice is what I've been doing in my music career. And that football game was the metaphor for that. But I came up with that idea. It started with the storyline 10 years ago when we wrote the song. And I just had the details of it down in my mind. Chad and I worked side by side with each other on getting the vision that I had in. And we had so many limitations due to weather and the high school football teams that were supposed to be involved making it to regional or winning the regional championships and making it to state. So we're limited on players. And it was a crazy way to try and get it all done. But I'm extremely proud of the project that we came up with. It was everything that I've been thinking about for 10 years, in a way that Chad was also able to craft my story into the final video product that we came out with. I'm extremely proud of that.
Yeah, it's powerful. Now, 10 years. So you first came up with the lyrics and everything 10 years ago. Why did it take this time for you to finally get into video production?
Well, we obviously, Aaron, we put it out on the 20th anniversary of the last day I saw him alive in Iraq, which was on January 4th. And I wrote the song on the 10th anniversary of his death in my living room. And then we came out with, it was 2016, 2 years after that, we came out with Burn, which got me discovered by the Professional Bull Riders. And we wrote a song called Never Forgotten for that album. I didn't want to, essentially the PBR was going to buy me out of my rights for marketing purposes to the song. And What You Think of Me meant was my song for Aaron. And I wasn't going to give my rights away for that song in particular. But Never Forgotten, we have a tribute video for that was played in 28 arenas across the nation and in Australia that I was performing in every PBR arena. So I really didn't want to overshadow this message and this song with Never Forgotten, because the story, my family's in that video. It's a tribute video, but it was also a tribute to law enforcement, first responders, and Border Patrol as well. and I didn't want to take away from that message either. So it was really important to me that the timing on this was right, and it no joke. It took me a good 10 years to try and get the video funded because music
Hmm.
videos aren't cheap. And as an
Yeah.
independent artist, as an independent artist, we get these things funded through crowdfunding and support through angels out there that want to, support the project. So there was a bunch of reasons. That was a really long answer for your question, but there's a bunch of
No.
reasons why it took a while for us to get it done. And the people involved, and I say God has His plan out there, and everything happens for a reason. Um, had I gotten this funded several years ago, Chad would not have been involved in it. And his vision and the way he sees things through a camera was incredibly important to me. Let's Talk About Heroes was another one that he did. No Second Chance was another one that he did. If folks want to go out there and check out those videos, but having all of the folks that are involved in this, the storyline, the people that I absolutely admire and adore in my life right now, all these people that love me and have supported me, got involved in this. And I don't know if we would have had that same support a bit back. And it worked out exactly how it should have.
Now, let's talk about one of those individuals you've gotten a great relationship with. That's one of my former brother battalion commanders, artillery officer. That's Lieutenant Colonel, well, Colonel Greg Gaston, who sadly lost both of his legs in Iraq. Same time we were deployed over there. He's featured in the video. How were you able to get Greg, who was a football player at West Point? I found that very interesting because he was the coach of the team in the video. How were you able to get Greg into the video, and talk about that growing relationship you have with him?
Well, Greg and I met several, I mean, I don't know, I think met 8 years ago at a nonprofit event in South Dakota. And he and I just, I say this affectionately as men, but we fell in love with each other as brothers. It was
Yeah.
just, well, there's such a tight connection immediately with him. And it's hard not to because of the kind of person that he is. But his story with the New York Giants and how he gave them their motivational speech, and they went on to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl after they had lost their first two games and went undefeated after he got done talking to him. I've heard him do motivational speeches so many years that I've gotten to know him. And then we did the Wheelchairs for Warriors
Mm-hmm.
commercial that you
Yeah.
narrated as well, which having the two of you on that was incredible. But to be part of that with him and know the kind of person that he is and the friend that he's become to me, I couldn't. I actually wanted you to be involved too because I've gotten to know you over the years, but you were busy, and that's fine. I mean, you're a busy man. He
Well,
just
I
happened
could
to
have
be
been the
free that
water
week.
boy. I could have been the water boy. I could have played Adam Sandler in the video. So
But him. I wanted him essentially. If you watch the folks watch the locker room scene,
yeah.
the kids had not met him in person yet. So all
Oh
the kids
wow.
when you're watching that video, I had him roll in, and his whole speech. It was a much longer speech, but we obviously had to condense it down for time. But I wanted him to go off the cuff and tell them, because a lot of those kids were going to the state championships and they had
Yeah.
just won the regional championships the night before. So I wanted him to. I'm sure, without question, that what he said to those kids in that locker room will make a lifelong impact for some of the kids that were there. There was a couple of special needs players that were there that I thought, I was just honored to have them involved in as well. But that whole locker room scene, when he's talking, they had never met him. I told them ahead of time his story, his background, and that they really needed to listen. It wasn't just hey, it's an acting thing. Like, these
Yeah.
kids legitimately were responding to what he had to say when you saw their faces
Yeah.
and got to see him. So it was so incredible to have him involved in that. And he was a trooper because we needed him for that speech, and then we needed him for the sideline shots, and you shoot everything separately. And it was cold, it was wet. I mean, he was a trooper sitting on the sidelines when we brought him out there. It was just interesting how we had to pull the jackets off and film it and then put it back on because it was cold and wet. So,
Yeah.
but he was awesome. It was still cool to have him in there, to call him my friend. It's an honor to have him in my life.
Well, tell us in the lyrics of the song, what are the most impactful lyrics in that song for you?
The blue skies, the one lyric that we put in there, the blue skies above and world at our feet. I think that imagery when see that as a kid growing up in Florida, climbing in the trees, the live oak trees that we had in our front yard, and riding our bikes down the street. And grew up on Orange Avenue in Floral City, and there are live oak trees that cover a mile almost of that whole road. It's just absolutely beautiful. And then the last summer that we spent together was on Clearwater Beach before I went in the military. And he looked like Tom Cruise, like Aaron looked like Tom Cruise. So his nickname was Maverick and mine was Goose. And we are both inspired by Top Gun to go in the military, but had to put that at the end of it as well. So, but the whole song itself, when I think about every piece of every word that we put into Craig Wilson, I co-wrote it. I definitely have to throw Craig's name out there. He passed a couple years back,
Yeah.
but he co-wrote "Burn" with me. And having this song released out after Craig's passing, I hope he's up there listening to everything we're saying and is proud of what we've been able to accomplish with that as well. But I think that the most important thing that I want folks to understand is that a lot of songs get written for commercial purposes. I've written songs for commercial purposes. It is what it is. A lot of stuff is free. These lyrics are I sing these lyrics in my live performances, and you've seen it. I mean, I'm singing them to Aaron the whole
Yeah.
time, and it's like a couple cats fighting in a water bucket half the time because I'm crying, but but the lyrics mean the world to me. I mean, the whole song. But the blue skies above and the world at our feet is kind of that force, like we have the world that we could capture, and I think that's probably the most important lyric to me.
So what's the next major project that you're working on?
But I have a song that I got several songs. This year is going to be the first time that I've ever actually released a full EP on my own without, because the PBR released a 4-song EP, but this year we're going to do it. The number of years I've been doing this, I've never released an EP, but we're going to release them as singles before we release the whole album as well. But got a song called I Want to Go Back that I'm extremely excited about. Wrote it with Craig Campbell, great patriot, loves America. The song is, I think, probably one of the most radio songs, but the message is what we need right now. It's about going back to when we stood at, our hand on our heart standing at the start of class, monkey bars on the playground with my dad. I mean, there's just running to the ice cream truck, I mean, just the things when we were kids, when everything was so easy, and you looked at the person next to you and you didn't think about politics. You just you thought about loving where you are and what you're doing, and the simple things that upset you, but the amazing things that change your life. And that's what the song's about. So I'm excited about that. That's going to be I think more of an American, all American message video. Might be a little bit more simple, Chad, if you're going to be filming this with me, but it might be a little bit more. The last one was probably the most complicated video that I've ever done, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that too.
Where can people go and download the video, listen to this incredible song? What do you think about me? And also, how can people follow you?
RyanWeaver.net is the quickest way to find all of my merchandise, music. Watch the music video; it's highlighted on the website. And if I could just ask everybody that's out there, a lot of folks don't realize that the digital downloads, comments, shares, all of that are extremely important to an independent artist. I don't have millions of dollars to put behind a song. We're doing this all on our own. It was a community affair, shooting this music video, so many volunteers and special people. And there are 2 different versions of it, by the way. We have a performance version and we have the full director's cut version. I have to throw it out there. Very first karaoke competition I ever did in my music career. When I started in music, I sang Amazed by Lone Star. And it just so happens that the founding member of Lone Star, Dean Sams, produced this song, and we've got him featured in this video. So you want to talk about 20 years coming full circle. It's just crazy putting all that together.
Well, I'm talking to Chad. Chad's my producer here, and Chad, of course, produces his videos. But Ryan, it's an honor to know you. It really is. And I look forward to the next time you and I are in the same room together and we can break some bread and have a good old time. But you are really an inspiration, and you really represent what America is about. in your family and their service to this great nation, and how you continue to serve this nation through the gift that you have been given with your musical skills and talent. So I can't thank you enough for being with us here at the Steadfast and Loyal podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, please go and visit and check out Ryan's work and spread the word about it. And if you're looking for a performer for an event, a patriotic event that you're going to have, think about my dear friend Ryan Weaver. And if you like this interview, please click the like button and share it with others. And until next time, steadfast and loyal.
Before they burn it down.